Welcome to Live from America podcast. Great episode today because we have two amazing comedians and my friends, and they're so funny. The one and only
Too much
Dan
fun.
Natterman,
Thank you. Good to be here.
one of the funniest comedians ever. I mean, I'm
Oh,
not just
yeah.
saying that.
All
It's
right.
true. He doesn't believe it. He doesn't think so
Well, I
sometimes.
don't know. Sometimes I feel good about myself. It comes and goes.
Yeah, but I hope it's on today.
Oh, I don't know.
And my other funny friend and good friend, comedian and funny and author as well. Oh, both are authors actually. Lou Perez is here, my good friend and partner.
Happy to be back. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and he have this amazing voice too. All right, so what we're gonna do today, we're gonna recap the World Cup, the soccer World Cup. You know, from a perspective, not necessarily the soccer, but from different perspectives. So we're gonna talk about the funny, the good, the bad, and the ugly for the FIFA World Cup 2026. So anybody that cares or don't care about it, this is gonna be a great episode for you. Dan, do you care about soccer?
Uh, no, not really. But I don't like sports generally, but I like sports movies.
Interesting.
So, like, I just saw Miracle. The movie about the 1980 U.S. hockey team.
Yeah, yeah. I did actually a couple of episodes about, the 250 years of America and highlighted a lot of things. And one of the things that I highlighted that the five major things in sports, one of them was Miracle on Ice. Those kids were college kids and managed to beat the Soviet Union that
Yeah,
time.
that's probably I think probably the greatest sports moment in American history. I would imagine. I can't imagine.
Yeah, I mean, well, I wanted to say like more like what America. So this was one of them. The other one was the Dream Team, just the forming of the Dream Team and the first original one, and how the world looked at it and respected, and the way we played wasn't arrogance. It was just pure talent with respect to opponent. It was a lot of great things. So, check out the other if you want to know the other five things that I picked for. You can watch the last episodes. Lou Perez, do you care about soccer?
I care about soccer every 4 years when the World Cup comes around. And this year's World Cup, I didn't care about it, I think for maybe the first week or two. And the reason why is because I didn't have access to any of the games on my television.
Translation, basic cable.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't have any of it. Yeah. But then once we figured out how to actually watch the games on my cheap ass TV, then I got into it. And so I was, obviously rooting for the United States, always wanting to a miracle on their front. I mean, you have to go all the way back to what, 2002 was it, when the U.S. men's team made it to, I think, the quarterfinals. They
Hmm.
lost to Germany.
Yeah.
I didn't even remember that we had gotten that far in a World Cup, which is amazing. And then my father's from Argentina, so obviously Argentina has had a lot more success with World Cups than most countries have. So I get to root for them.
Yeah. And we got to watch a game together in Vegas.
Yeah, we got to watch Egypt versus Argentina.
No,
It wasn't Egypt?
no, it was Argentina versus Switzerland.
Do you have any good
I
soccer?
mean, it's basically the same, right? I
Yeah.
mean, Switzerland and Egypt is the same.
Yeah. They have a good what?
Soccer movie to recommend. There was one with Sylvester Stallone. I
Oh,
think
Victory.
Victory. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Michael Caine,
I like
Pele.
I like the one Escape, the one with Pelé. Um
Was
What?
that
What?
Victory or is it?
Yeah. What's the real title of the movie? I think
uh,
that I always
I
knew it
think
as Victory.
was it Victory? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean it's a great, the fact. Yeah, I think it is called Victory. I mean Bended like Beckham is okay, but but I think that is about like how good the game was when they try to escape the prison.
It's called Escape to Victory.
Yeah, that's what I said, escape. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So we both right.
I
Um,
think I think I saw it or part of it years ago with
yeah,
Sylvester Stallone.
yeah. So and it was funny to see Sylvester Stallone try to play soccer. But we'll talk about the funny moments in the World Cup. But this is the thing is like the World Cup is bigger than just soccer and the sports, in terms of like uh given like knowing the other nations, knowing the other cultures, obviously the economic impact. And what's funny is a lot of people don't know that the most attended World Cup ever before this one was the one in the US as well in 1994. And then this is the most attended now. So, um, but did you feel there's a World Cup at all, Dan?
Did I would what?
Did you feel that there was a World Cup, the atmosphere, the culture, anything,
Well, yeah,
parties?
well, because in New York, you see the bars filled, and and when I was on the cruise ships, they were playing it. I was on the cruise ships during the World Cup, so it was being shown on the cruise, and so it was hard to escape it.
Yeah. And especially when there's like a Brazilian bar or something, and you pretend that you know soccer just to go with the hot fans. Oh my God.
Well, I didn't do that, but
Well, I did. Yeah.
on the
Um,
ship, it was mostly because most of the passengers are Americans and Canadians. So the people that were most into it were the crew. They come from all over the world.
there was a funny video of American tourists were in the same hotel as Iceland, and they have Erling Haaland, who's the biggest star of the world. And they walk to him, and he's like, "Are you in the Iceland team?" He's like, "No, I'm a social media guy." So they left him and walk away.
Well, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, it's
People,
funny.
and I'm not. I generally don't care. I'm not starstruck by athletes in general, even if I know who they are.
If you see Michael
Yeah, if
Jordan,
Michael
you're not gonna
Jordan
be.
came into the Comedy Cellar, yeah, okay.
Really?
So, yeah, I wouldn't care. I mean, it would be fun to see the other people's reactions, but I had nothing to say to him. I have no questions for him.
Yeah. I
I
feel
don't
like
know.
it's more for me, like when I see him, it's not about like the celebrity part, it's like the accomplishment, being a goat or being, whatever. That's you want to see that energy. Like there's this thing about Tom Cruise, everybody's saying is like if you sit with Tom Cruise, he just makes you feel like you're the most important person. He just focus on you. He talks to you like it's crazy. Like
And
it's
you all your thetan levels just go down. Like you
Mhm.
just gets rid of all of them. It's pretty
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
All right, so we'll cover the World Cup, like I said, from a soccer and non-soccer perspective. The funniest moment, again, in this World Cup, and then you tell me Trump photobombed the Spain World Cup celebration. So he just went in on the stage, and this is so funny. And for people that don't know soccer, this is not the first time that Trump did this. So about a year ago, there is the Club World Soccer, and Chelsea from England won. And this time, Trump not only that was in the side, he was in the middle, and he carried the things with him, and he refuses to leave. You know, but the funny thing, they had a plan for him this time. Like you could tell, the FIFA had like a second stage, and with the name Trump on it, so he can walk there. He still didn't. He only walked halfway through, and then they bomb it. But the funny part is like Spain and FIFA crop like Trump's photo outside of the picture. Then the White House put it back in it. It's insane. What's your thoughts on that?
Lou,
Yeah, well, yeah, I saw a little bit of that clip. I mean, something I think that was surprising. Maybe I shouldn't have been surprised is that it seemed like the Spanish players were kind of into it. That they were like, I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like they were just so full of joy. And then I guess, days later, you see they're back in Spain, and I think it was the team captain has a red hat on that says "Make Spain Great Again." So it's sort of like, as a World Cup, it's like, wow, we've Americanized, been passing around our culture so much after this, one World Cup.
Nanaman?
um, yeah, I mean, I don't know how much to say about it. But
Yeah, I think it's one thing about it is like, not to defend Trump, but I think like, in NFL and NBA and stuff, like when you win the trophy, the owner of the club takes a trophy first, which is weird to me because, has nothing to do with it. The athlete should have gotten it, you know? So maybe he thinks he's the owner of America. I don't know. So it's like,
Well, isn't it? Well, I think it says something though. I mean, he was there for the whole game, right?
yeah.
He didn't. There was no shots of him passing out or anything like that. I mean, that I think that that says something.
Yeah, but most of the president will attend the World Cup final for sure.
Mm.
It's funny because he just try to cut ties with Spain for not being against the U.S. and Israel and all that, and he's like, I'm gonna cut ties with Spain. I don't like Spain, and then all of a sudden he's dancing with the player.
That's all you got to do. All you have to do is win a world. You have to win anything. Bring Trump up, and then you're good. That's it.
well, you would think Trump would be, anti-soccer, because it's such a European game and such a not American, thing.
Yeah, but he loves soccer. He always said he loved soccer. He said he used to watch Pelé all the time. So,
Yeah, he brought up the New York Cosmos. There was
yeah.
a really yeah, there was a really a cool clip of him being interviewed, and yeah, and I think that's something that people forget about Trump is that I mean, at the heart of him, I mean, he's a New Yorker, and he's been as long as he's been alive, he's been a part of New York history, whether it's Central Park or you know something like Pele coming and playing for the Cosmos and all that. What I do find what I find funny or kind of a maybe a tack like but this time around it's like every 4 years. Yes, I care about soccer every 4 years, but every 4 years you end up seeing the same exact takes from people who hate soccer, who hate on it, like, oh, it's not a real sport, they're pussies, blah blah blah, and all that. It's like, do you have any idea how hard it is to play 90 minutes of anything? I mean, Hatem, you were a professional soccer player, football player, however you want to say it. Like, you don't have to like it. I mean, you could shit on it because of like its
Yeah.
European roots, worldly roots, and all that. But it's funny seeing people with like no athletic ability whatsoever say like, "What is this bull? Like, why don't they use their hands?" It's like well, watch watch that goal that Spain scored, to beat Argentina, and it's like, come on.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a difficult sport. It's a difficult sport, and I find it more interesting to watch than baseball if I had to watch something.
I like that you use the word interesting and baseball. Like base, oh my God. I mean, like it's still a sport, but it just like I
Well,
don't know.
baseball I found out recently. I thought it was just boring, but there's a lot more to it than meets the eye in terms
Oh
of
yeah.
the
Oh yeah, for
batter,
sure.
whether he swings or he doesn't swing, and if the strategy of whether to swing or not to swing, and all that, and there's a lot more to it than I had thought. So
Oh,
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah.
oh, there. If you watch like interviews with like, oh, was it Tom Glavine? Oh God, I forget who the pitcher was from the Atlanta Braves, but I mean, he's throwing pitches like mid-season as setups for playoffs. Like when he's like, I'm throwing this pitch because the next time we see this team, he's going to expect this pitch. It's like it's really just
but is
Yeah.
it is it is it easy as a spectator? I know this is not soccer, but can you see what's going on? Can you really tell
mm.
the kind of pitch when you watch it? Can you tell a slider from a fastball just by looking at it, just by being in the stands?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Like you can tell like what kind like I think I could tell from his like the way his fingers like hold the ball sometimes. I don't know. But I mean like even imagine that ball in baseball coming through if you're a hitter and coming like as fast like that's why people like say any kind of sports is just like oh my God it's I can do this or no it's professional level is a different thing first of all even that pitcher with amount of throws that he does for his arm not to get injured and not stay that's insane.
I would recommend this to anybody, especially older guys who are a lot of who are yelling at televisions about what professional athletes should have done or shouldn't do. So a buddy of mine, he had a his bachelor party in Florida, and we rented out a minor league baseball stadium, and there were a group of like over 20 of us, and we had a basically an all day softball tournament. And I think out of all of us, maybe one guy had played softball like in the last ten years, right? So I played baseball as a kid. Now, 20 years, 20, 30 years removed, and I'm trying to throw a ball again. Like, you realize, like, holy shit, this is really hard to do. And while with my young kids coming up, like learning how to play ice hockey, it got me back on the ice, and I'm like, this is really, really hard. So it's like I think it would do a lot of good for people to pick up a bat again, pick up a ball, and try to recreate what you were able to do when you were a kid. And then you realize, like, man, this is not only is it really hard, but there are levels to the game that you can't
Well, I'm
understand.
I'm at an advantage over most people as I didn't do any of that as a kid, so I don't have I don't have to say, well, I can't do that anymore because I never did in the first place. So
There's
I can watch.
levels to every level.
I'm
That's
gonna watch
right.
Moneyball, by the way. I think after the podcast.
It's a good
Oh, that's
movie. Yeah.
what's funny is the other day, speaking of baseball and arms and all this, the other day, like I was watching the World Cup and I don't know who scored, and I just went like this, oh, like yeah, and I literally hurt my arm, you
You
know.
can't even cheer like you used to.
Yeah, it's crazy. But you know what? That's why one of the best, speeches that I find a lot of people don't really talk about it is Teddy Roosevelt in the arena, where it says the credit belongs to the people actually in the arena, not the people, not the media, not the critics, not if you're actually in the arena and doing what you're doing, then you can talk. Other than that, shut the fuck up, you know. Um, well, between from the three of us, you're the only one that is married, Lou. So, another funny thing that happened in World Cup with this Uruguayan guy who was like trying to propose to his girlfriend. Talk about the wrong time. And he proposed to her while Uruguay was winning. And as he proposed, Cape Verde scored another goal and tied it. And they both like, oh fuck it. And everybody's looking at them like they're bad luck. I mean, you can't make this shit up. It's so funny. How did you propose, Lou?
I proposed in England. Yeah, the Argentina's biggest rival, England. Yeah, I proposed in my wife, her sister. She's English, and
Her
we
sister is English?
yeah. So her my wife, her stepdad's is from England, and
Oh,
so
oh.
when we would go on vacation, yeah, to Europe, we would always spend some time in England first. So I planned it so that when we were in England, I proposed to her in their living room. So with the witnesses, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law. And my brother-in-law, he was the officiate at our wedding, so um, he helped marry us. So
I always find that marriage proposal is crazy. I don't think I can do it.
Well, Rocky, Rocky proposed in a zoo
Oh, he did,
to
yeah.
Adrian. Yeah, but it's another movie,
Oh, that's
another
so yeah,
sports
yeah.
movie.
So, but
yeah, we're having a whole conversation, a movie conversation. You
uh,
really can do it. Yeah, I mean, there's a movie for everything. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you can.
Oh, sorry. I just want to say this right. Somebody had pointed this out where in Rocky, before he takes Adrian out, there's a couple of like the gangster guys, and the one guy says to him, "Hey, Rock, you should take it to the zoo. I heard retards
Yeah,
like the
yeah, yeah,
zoo."
yeah, yeah.
And then he gets all offended, right? And then cut two, he takes it to the
Right.
zoo on a date.
Oh, I never noticed that. That is so funny.
That was before the resurgence of retard. That was the original, when the word retard was big in the 70s. Then it kind of went away, and now it's had sort of a resurgence, at least on X and among, a certain group of people.
I think all right, let's go one more with the funny thing. This guy, Jordan Henderson, he's from England. He's the only player that didn't play at all, yet got a yellow card and broke his arm. He was jumping, celebrating, jumping over like an advertising thing, and he fractured his wrist, and it just, I was like, what a, I like him as a player, but it's so funny. What a loser.
Wait, how do you break his arm?
He was jumping over like after the game, jumping
Okay.
over an advertising thing, and just slipped and.
And the yellow card is like a penalty, right, or something?
No, yellow card is like kind of like a warning offense. Like he complained about something, so I don't know.
Where they give you a card, like that's on an airplane, where they give you like a, if you're disrupted, they give you like a little, a note that explains that if you act up again,
Really?
you're gonna be in trouble. Yeah,
Wait, an airplane? I never heard that.
yeah, like a friend of mine got one. They just hand you a note. It says you've been disruptive. You're interfering with flight crew. If you do this again, it's going to be a legal issue.
I never knew that. I mean,
Yeah.
my experience with flight is different. If I do something wrong,
If you don't
usually
get a card, you
that.
get immediately, a handcuff. But if you're a white guy, you get the card first.
Okay, okay. So if you are white, this is so interesting. I had no idea. Lou, did you know that?
No, I had no idea.
Well,
You
maybe it was
they
just that airline. It was JetBlue, but I suspect everybody does it.
they call me, give you a notice like, "Hey, sir, you are." Oh, I cannot wait for this to happen to me. That would be so funny. My note will be so different.
Well, Hatem, I wanted to ask you, so, this guy, he injured his wrist without playing. Since all the national teams have professional players, like, how do the clubs that they're playing for, look upon that? Because whether it's like the Winter Olympics with like the men's hockey team, when I mean the way that they were playing, I mean they were playing their hearts out. I mean, uh, Hughes, who scored the game winner against Canada, I mean he got how
Mm,
many teeth knocked out.
yeah.
So you're putting your body on the line, and like if you get injured, I mean potentially there goes your professional career. So similar thing to the World Cup as well,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So the clubs, the FIFA, so what people don't know, or maybe they know, but in general, the FIFA, the whole World Cup thing, the whole idea is to collect as much money as possible to get to build and help the sports in poor nations and any nation, but mostly poor. So they can try to get as much money, so they pay and build stadiums, help youth soccer, women's soccer, all kind of soccer, around the world. So that's the whole idea,
But
which
what if
is a
the
great.
kids are starving and they're like, "We have this money, but we're going to build a stadium." You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, I mean that's there. I'm sure there's other, other, you know, organization that does that, but that's the FIFA mission. That's the idea of having, and this is why I'm always against, which we're gonna talk about the ugly too, but the tickets were so expensive in this World Cup, more than anyone by that by hundreds, so they try, obviously in the US it's more people can pay that much, and there's a lot of sponsorship. They made the most money ever, but the idea is to give it to the rest of the world. So anyway, part of that, what FIFA does is they also pay each club for their players. I think they pay like a $5,000 a day that they are in the tournament, playing or not. And if you are injured, I believe the FIFA also compensate the club with money,
Mm.
so, but it is the biggest thing in the world. The other thing that the good about this World Cup is, like, all the underdog stories, which is this
Oh
is
yeah.
Cinderella thing. This is all sports, right? You always like, oh, what's funny is, like, Haiti was playing against Scotland in a game, and that's the same day that the Knicks won.
who was playing Scotland?
Haiti.
Haiti.
Haiti?
Yeah, well, it's called Haiti, but Haiti.
Nobody calls it Haiti.
This is the first time I've ever heard Haiti. Yeah.
Really? I
No,
think
Yeah.
that's
that's
what it's
not it.
called.
Not no, I don't believe so. The Haitians call it AT,
AT. Oh, anyway, so they're playing against
not
Scotland, which
Haiti.
one of the most one of the games that, I don't want to say nobody cares about, except that not popular game. But at the same time, the Knicks were playing game six when they won the whole thing. So I actually have a friend from Scotland that was just visiting, had no idea what the Knicks are, and they came out of the bar and saw all the celebration for the Knicks. I was like, all this because Scotland tied the game. So when you come in, like, I think, like, a lot of, like, the tourists come in here. Like, what do you think the most thing that shocked people when they come here? If you've never been to the United States, especially, like, say, New
To
York,
the U.S. or to New York City?
to New York City.
I think people can't believe just how big it is. How yeah, I mean, I remember years ago I was on a train and there's somebody from I don't know from Europe, but I don't know what the accent was, but we stopped in Newark and she thought Newark was New York because Newark looks pretty big. Like if you don't know any better, Newark looks like a big city. But New York is just ridiculous, into just miles and miles of skyscrapers. I guess
What
they
about
see it
you?
in movies, but I don't know if they really have a sense of it.
What do you think a tourist will be more surprised? I mean, there's a lot of TikToks that are happening about how big the food was, the burgers, and
Yeah, yeah, also that
Yeah.
stuff. The
what
free
what do you think
refills.
if
They say, although I never get free refills, maybe on iced tea, but not Coca Cola.
Well, yeah, I think I wonder how many like, tourists like their idea of like a city like New York is kind of based on what they've seen, in other people's like travel videos and stuff like that. But I think the most surprising thing were things like, the size of portions. Ranch dressing became like this huge thing. Another thing was I think a lot of tourists who were coming over were, amazed by just how, friendly and kind Americans were. So I was, really happy just, as an American, just seeing the way that, the whole month long tournament just shook out. It seemed like it was just such a great, America was a great ambassador for America. Um, and I think someone had pointed out too, like, I don't know do you know where they're going to hold the World Cup next? Do you know?
Yeah, Portugal, Spain, and Morocco.
Portugal, Spain, and Morocco. Yeah, like I wonder. I mean, it seemed like, I mean, there were all these games going on. Granted, there were games in Mexico and Canada as well, but I mean, really, the U.S. could have handled the whole thing and more.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they could have. The idea is they're trying to like have more nations involved at
Right.
the same time. But yeah, I agree with you. Actually, I think we did a very good job in terms of like being friendly, being, prepared. I mean, have you guys been to any games?
No, I wasn't able to go. No,
So
no.
yeah, I've been to a couple, and
I was able to go, but didn't.
really.
No, no way. Yeah.
I don't know if I. What do you mean you weren't able? You mean you were busy, or you couldn't
No,
get
no, yeah,
tickets?
yeah. Well, yeah. What a bad, yeah, yeah. No, I didn't have tickets, and there was no, and there was
What?
no
Wait,
way.
wait.
I didn't have I didn't have the
It's
money
not. It's
to be
not
able to
even
pay for
that. It's
that.
not that you didn't have tickets. You couldn't buy
I
tickets.
couldn't buy tickets.
It's
Shit,
not
no,
able or couldn't have tickets.
no,
You could have it if you want
no,
to. It
no.
just was like crazy. I went to a few, and it's first of all it was very organized for the amount of like the stadiums were excellent. I went to a couple of different stadiums. I always love Seattle, and Atlanta and New York, obviously, but like Seattle and Atlanta especially. Atlanta because it's closed, so it's controlled environment, which is great. I'm surprised they did the final in New York. I understand it's New York, and but 3 p.m. in New York, it was insane. But they did a good job with, but the thing is like the way you get in, you buy the ticket and then they email you the QR code the day of. You can only activate the day of, and then they have to know it's you. FIFA
Mhm.
was making sure that no one can scam them. Not only they can scam them, they cannot sell it to somebody else. Like people have to be there. And the funny thing is, from one of the games that I definitely went to, it was really funny. It was Iran versus Egypt in Seattle. And just to see the face, first of all, everyone in Seattle was so friendly, so helpful, so great. But it's so funny to see the Iranian, Persian and Egyptian fans all over. And security was good. But you know, for the first time you see 100,000 people, they look exactly like you. So it was kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, you were like, yo, I got to find a wife
Yeah,
here.
but
Yeah, they
didn't
all
you
look like.
live in Egypt, Tatem?
I did. I
Well,
did.
there were plenty of people look like you there.
That's yeah, but I mean, like, I'm talking about right here, right now. And in Seattle, from all places. But you know what's funny? And this is one of the ugly thing. There's a lot of movement, all the homeless people. Like every city that I went to, like even in New York, you don't see homeless people during the World Cup. They just move them. Like I asked the guy, I don't remember where it was. I don't know if I was. I think in Seattle. I was like, I haven't seen one homeless guy here. You guys are doing great job. He's like, no, they moved them all out. Kind of like what San
There
Francisco.
was there was a World Cup of homelessness
Actually,
at
funny you
different
said that.
countries.
There is a World Cup for homeless.
Is
And
that?
yeah, and there's a movie in Netflix called The Beautiful Game. It's about the World Cup, the homeless World Cup.
You mean soccer? Soccer? Or
Soccer,
playing
yeah.
soccer? Yeah.
But yeah, moving.
By the way,
So
soccer I think is in England is from England. That word I forgot the
yes,
exact etymology, and we kept it, and I guess the English moved on to football.
yeah. That's what's funny is like about a lot of people. Why don't you just call football? And the original word though, the first game was soccer from England. Um. So yeah, the other thing was I don't know. I know you guys don't know a lot about soccer, but this I want to know your opinion in general. This one, they added more countries. Usually it was 24, then it was become 32. Now this one they added a lot more, 48 countries. Because the idea was to get like as many nations as possible that never qualified, like Haiti.
Haiti, yes.
Like
Well, Haiti never qualified because it doesn't exist.
yeah, and you have a point.
Haiti and Narnia. That was another one.
Cap Verde,
Yeah.
obviously, who everybody loved Cap Verde, and the story of Cap Verde is like all the players they have another jobs, kind of like us. So they're like talk about
Or currently not having a job and
oh yeah,
and
yeah,
putting this out there if anybody's hiring.
yeah, maybe
Where's
go play
Cape
for Cap Verde.
Verde?
Dude, I'm all about playing for
The
Cat.
goalkeeper is like 40 years old, and he's
Yeah.
like he was a sensation. It's funny. I saw him in Freedom, not Freedom Fest, Fanatic Fest. One of was great. It's funny because they did this Fanatic Fest in New York, which is the biggest sports event for the World Cup. But to make sure that they sell more, they added baseball, football, basketball. So the Knicks were there. A lot of football players. The day that I went, Tom Brady was there. Eli Manning was there. Little Wade, like everybody, the whole Knicks. Needless to say, Kevin Hart was there because he's in everywhere you go.
He's everywhere you go. There's not a day goes by I don't see Kevin Hart somewhere.
It's
Whether it's on
crazy.
TV, wherever it is, I see Kevin Hart every day of my life.
Yeah, and so Kevin was there, and actually Jeff Ross was there too. Um, but it was interesting because you see all these players from different sports and all the fans coming in to get. But anyway, the Cape Verde goalie was there, and it's funny because he went from 15,000 followers, I think, to millions of followers Instagram and became sensation. And he's so not used, like you see him walking under security and people take a picture, and he's so uncomfortable, like he's so not used to that. And then he had the greatest, like he had like this conference that I attended, and he was like saying, you know, um, I wanna, people to know what Cape Verde is, and hopefully people can put one meal a day in their table. I was like, damn, it's much bigger than that. And but he said something very interesting. It's like, I want to play somewhere where it's not just because I'm popular now, but because they want me. So anyway,
He's a
what's
goal. He's a goalie. Is it?
is a goalkeeper, yeah. And he became a big sensation during this World Cup. He had some very big saves. And the whole team, because the team is not supposed to qualify, they qualified. And then, so what do you think of this? Some people were like, hey, we only need the best teams to be in the World Cup. Some people say, hey, let's include everybody so we can have all the cultures, all the stuff. What do you think? Should they be in the World Cup even if they're not hot?
Yeah. Well, why not? I mean, what's to lose by having? Because I mean, let them have their shot. I don't see much to lose by it.
I mean,
To have
it's
more
more
people,
exa
more teams.
it's more exhaustion for a player, more games for all the players, more less recovery times between. So
Oh,
which is,
well, I
Lou,
guess
what do you think? Do you care?
I mean, I guess I like it. I mean, I'm not the one who has to play, right? But I guess is this the first time they've done
48, yeah.
this many teams? I mean, it seems like everything worked out, right? I mean, it seemed like the teams that were, most likely to make it to the end made it, right? Well, but Italy wasn't in the World Cup though, right?
Yeah,
How
Italy have a
how
weird story. They
how's
haven't
that
been in
possible?
I know.
I just that just seems like one of the countries that would just be like a given, you know?
It's crazy. Italy haven't made it to the last three World Cups, which is crazy.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and they always, and the one thing that I liked about this, because the Italian coach was like, why do we need more teams from Africa? They don't know how to play. And the African teams did great. So they really shut them up. I was like, shut the fuck up.
Hmm.
But yeah, they didn't qualify, surprisingly. All right, let's talk
I
about,
have a question though about because you mentioned the goalie.
yes, sir.
I just here's a question that I have. Well, I was watching Miracle, the hockey movie. I was wondering this, but it applies to soccer as well. Is being a goalie? I mean, is that a totally different training regimen? Do they even train with? It's like it seems like they're not even playing the same sport. You know, there's no
Yeah, I
dribbling.
mean,
The goalie's not dribbling. He's using his hands. He's not running. He doesn't need. I guess he needs speed, but it's sort of a different. It's a whole different thing.
yeah, I mean, he definitely get different kind of training. He still play the game, because he used his feet as well to build up the play, to dribble a little bit. Now that it used to be that goalies back in the day, they didn't need to use their feet as much. Now the modern soccer, they want to pass it back to the goalkeeper. Like before you pass it back to the goalkeeper, he goes like, "Oh shit." But
You're
now
stuck.
the new law is if you pass it back, you cannot hold it with your hands, so you have to be good with your feet. So yeah, but it's totally different.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Different practice, and also different like size. Like you got to be like a little bit tall, obviously flexible, all that, your reaction to it. What's interesting, I was coaching a team here in the US, and we didn't have a goalie one time in a school. So we got the pitcher for baseball, which is like he's good with it, and he became All-American. He was
As
so
a goalie.
good. Yeah, as a goalie. So I mean, sometimes sports can, I think athlete can be an athlete in a lot of things. But
Is there when it comes to the position of goalkeeper, do they have like a longer shelf life? Like they're older,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Because I'm thinking about the goalkeeper from, Cape Verde. It's like, oh, I hope a team does pick them up. That'd be nice.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, usually, when you pay money, you want to have somebody like younger and stuff. But I think he's gonna be picked up because, he's became very popular. So, and he's good, obviously. But the thing is, like with these things, like it can get injured and, you know, take away.
And the
Um,
goalies, they're not doing the cool shit like that bicycle kick, where they go, where they
yeah, but
go.
they diving all the time and they go in like hands in and head and crosses. You get more injured more. You get protected more by the law. But it's crazy. All right, how about this ugly thing about the Iranian team that, because of the war, so the Iran obviously qualified, and there was a big thing about like, and I give this team a lot of credit. I've seen them watch live, play live, and they were like so good. Um, but because of, the war with the US and stuff, they were only allowed to come in to the US. They had to have their camp. So each one usually pick a camp near the cities where you're gonna play, but they were not allowed to stay in the US. So their camp was in Mexico. And then they were only allowed to come to the US one day before the game. Later it became 2 days, and leave the same day, which is obviously very hard. And they still did very good job. Um, and it's not like they're political anything. They're just playing soccer. So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I like, to the extent possible to keep sports and politics separate. Like when we boycotted the Soviet game. Well, that was back in 19, what was it, 80? Was it 80? The
Something like
Moscow,
that. Yeah, the Moscow,
1980
yeah, Olympics.
Moscow games, and because of political reasons, and looking back, I mean, it's should politics get in the way of sports? Of course, people say that about all these people that don't want to play the Israelis, for that reason. Um,
Well, the Israelis didn't qualify.
all right, well, but I'm saying in general.
Yeah, yeah.
But I guess, yeah. I mean, yeah. Ideally, you would keep sports and politics completely separate, unless you had some overriding reason, not to.
Yeah, I think this is definitely one of the things that we kind of fell short in. I think it would have been better if we show more grace towards it, that, the war is never with the Iranian people. Um, and it's not that the team coming with a political statement either. Uh,
And also what kind of threat does the team pose? Like they're flying to go, get their, to go to their games. Um, and then I mean, also I think if the U.S. really wanted to mess with them, do you remember when they played Egypt and there
yeah.
was the big thing about the pride flags and stuff like that? It would be amazing if every time Iran played, they had to go in like a gay themed, like there was like, drag queens or something like that, you know.
This is one of the funniest thing is like, so the FIFA always have like one bright games that they pick before even we know who qualified to the World Cup. So they picked Seattle, so they picked that date, picked that game. And then you see when they doing the draw, you can see the guy's face when he's announcing the teams and he's picking up. It's like it will be Iran versus Egypt. Oh my, and his face went crazy. It was so funny. Of course, both countries was like, we don't want to do that. Seattle said, fuck it, we're gonna do it anyway. I actually went to that game, like I said. It was interesting because there was some political rallies outside. There's some, kind of like promoting the son of Shah of Iran. Some were promoting, the rainbow flags. There's a lot of tables get it, but I honestly didn't think it's going to be an issue because everybody that's in the stadium lives here, so they're fine with it anyway. So it's not a big deal. I think the player is just it's different for players, but this is a topic that happens all over. Um, you know, but it would be funny if they like, it was.
Just trolling them though.
Yeah, if they
Just troll.
have, every time they score or something, they have to do something.
Oh, they do the kiss cam and it's just
Yeah.
dudes making out.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
so it was interesting. I was expecting that it's gonna be like crazier, but But I did see one of the things I saw at that game is like I saw people like literally taking a picture of every single person coming in. Like, and I did not see that in other games. Like, there's like people like you can tell the security they're just waiting like in line and taking picture one picture at a time, one picture at a time. And it's crazy because that I only saw it in that game, you know.
Does North
There's other
Korea have
games that they were like searching. I think the Egypt Argentina one, they were body searching the Egyptians more than the Argentinians too. So
Did the
that's
North Koreans have a soccer team?
you know,
They
North
made
Korea.
it one year. Yeah, well, when it was in remember when it was in Asia, right? Was it
No. South Korea, North Korea never played that. But you know what's funny is that North Korea, and this is a true story, people can look it up. Uh, Actually, the president of North Korea told the people that North Korea won the World Cup because they don't have everything is controlled and beat Italy 6-1 and they won the World Cup and came back with the World Cup. It's a true story. They think they like people there, they think they are the world champion.
you know how pissed off the Italians are now? They're like, what the fuck?
I know, but it's like I don't even remember why Italy, but something happened with him in Italy. But it's so funny. Um,
Well,
Also,
Hatem, I just want to ask you a question about so obviously in the U.S. you have a lot of Persians, right?
yeah,
So when Iran is playing, are they rooting? Do they kind of put even like that stuff aside? I mean, a lot of people are kind of refugees from
yeah,
from
for
Iran.
sure, yeah.
They put that aside and still
The
root for the
stadium was
team.
packed, and there was more Persians than an Iranian supporter than Egyptian. There was both a lot, but more supporting
But
Iran than Persian.
The
Yeah, for
Persians in the
sure.
United States are obviously very anti the
Right.
regime. To the extent that the players are pro-regime, I suspect the Persian
Very
American.
anti the regime publicly. You didn't
I
know
don't
what's
know,
inside.
but if to the extent that they see the Iranian team as representative of the regime, then maybe they wouldn't be rooting for them. But
Yeah, but it's more like they know that the players are forced to do things or represent something. It's still the pride of the country, you know, the culture, you know, because when you play soccer, you like the way Spain plays is a Spanish play. You know, there's a certain way they keep the ball, they keep, you know, they pass a lot. This is a culture thing. So even when you play for a country that a lot of people don't like their leaders, they still like the players and like their team and support them, you know in that sense. But we haven't heard a lot of ice. There was some obvious controversies with the immigration and stuff. Every World Cup there's something, you know. Russia was human rights, shocking. Qatar was like the rights of people. A lot of people died building uh, the stadiums in the heat. The U.S., the immigration thing and ICE. We didn't hear a lot of ICE stories. There's some, but you know. Without immigrants, nobody's gonna fill up the stadium, right? There was one Somalian referee that they didn't let in because they said he have suspected of terrorism, but he's a famous referee. It's so funny. But what do you think of the ICE? Did you feel anything that's happening during this, Lou?
Did I feel anything? Did I sense a presence of
Yeah,
ice? No, I mean, if anything, it seemed like any of the ice stuff was all domestic, right? I mean, it seemed like there
yeah.
were Americans protesting or at ice facilities and stuff like that. It seems like for the most part, tourists who came in seemed to come and go pretty easily.
Hatem, you brought up an interesting point about filling the stadium. How much of the stadiums were just American-born, just Americans, and how much of it were immigrants or sons of immigrants or visitors from?
Yeah. Interesting. I think that's definitely more of because we had they don't have the official numbers yet of visitors, but we made so much money either in New York and as a country. Um, I think I have the numbers here somewhere. Even the attendance of people that come in, but uh, yeah, that's why one of the reasons I didn't like the price of tickets because it's supposed to be cheaper for people that live locally. Like Lou's supposed to take his kids and they have that amazing experience that they will never experience until it's like to have a World Cup in your country until maybe they're grown up and stuff, but you break a bank if you take them. It's supposed to be, this is what it's supposed to be, the local. They're supposed to be a combination of people coming from their home countries. But I think overall, we did a very good job in terms of like, I know there's, some Senegal was not allowed a lot of their fans. They actually gave the Senegal, because I have some Senegalese friends, they gave the embassy free tickets for people from Senegal to give it to people from Senegal here for free so they can support their team, you know. Um, Now a lot of people from Europe came and end up spending a lot of money, or sons of immigrants, and but I don't know how many regular Americans watch it, attended. I bet it's a big number, you know.
Well, what is it about soccer that Americans don't take to it as much as everybody else does? Is it just we're stubborn and the same reason we don't like Celsius because we're like fuck everybody? Or is there something intrinsic about soccer that just doesn't, or
No,
historically, you
well,
know?
soccer is one of the most played youth sports here in the United States with basketball, one and two. The only reason it's not going as much, I think, is because of the economic part, the business, because there's not a lot of breaks in soccer, so not a lot of commercial breaks, which is now they invented the hydration break just for that, so you can have some more commercials. But if you imagine that if you play basketball, like a lot of our athletes played soccer before. Kobe played soccer before he played basketball. LeBron, a lot of the NFL played more soccer. So imagine if these guys play soccer now. But the only thing is like the contract, the most contract in soccer here, forget about Messi and all that. I'm talking about like American players is not even like a rookie in an NBA. So it's all about money. It's all about numbers. So I think now when they try to make more of commercial breaks, stuff like that. I mean, we Americanize a lot of things. Now we have a halftime show. Did you guys see it?
No, I didn't know we had that. Okay. And wait, does soccer have a halftime in
Yeah, so
general?
no, so we usually there's a halftime, so you play 45 minutes halftime and 45 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
So usually, the commercials before and even in the break and halftime is not enough to generate that money while playing a whole 45 minutes without breaks, without commercials. So now what they do is like they invented hydration break in the middle, so players can, have water, which is obviously just for commercials. And we added a halftime show, which was Madonna, Justin Bieber. I don't remember who else. PTS. Few other, but Madonna made a fun comeback. But yeah, that's the reason that soccer is not as popular now. But and also the other thing is like, and this is the thing, a problem here is like you never have the pride for the country. I want to represent the country, except maybe for the Olympics, and it's more of representing yourself. But when you NBA, it says like we're the world champions, and you haven't played anybody. I never seen anybody be like, my goal is to play in a national team. That's every kid's dream in the rest of the world. But here, you can be a world champion without leaving home. We can play baseball and become world champion. But that American pride to become, even the dream team, that was one of the good things. It was the first like real American team. But so I think the more you have that, the better it will be.
Well, certain sports, of course, you have no choice but to want it because there's no alternative. You're not going to be a bobsledder for the professional, bobsled league. You have no choice but to be a USA bobsledder. There's nothing
Yeah.
else.
But
Or
I mean, like you
or a
play base.
speed skater. If you want to be a speed skater, you're there's no, as far as I know.
You can't go down to the park and hustle guys on the speed skating rink. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where these people, like as kids, where do you even practice these sports?
But that's the thing is
Ski
like
jumping. How do you even get into that?
Yeah,
There's
how do
two
you
ski
come up with the
jumps in the whole
ideas like, you know
country.
what I want to be? When I grow up, I want to jump over. I think it's but that's what I'm talking about. It's all about sponsorship, individual money that you build an athlete and you make money out of it, like Nike or whatever, Adidas or anybody. But you have it in the rest of the world. Obviously, in the Middle East, we don't have anything icy. So we suck in all this ice thing.
Well, you
The
have refrigeration.
Yeah, but we
Try ski jumping into a freezer.
Well, no, you could have hockey and speed skating.
Yeah, but we have field
Yeah, yeah,
hockey.
but they're gonna get caught like in their robes though on the skates though. It's gonna be
We
tough.
we do have a field hockey, by the way, but we don't have ice hockey. But yeah, it's different. But I think soccer here, like in terms of like, I think the problem is three things for the US. One is the best athlete don't play soccer because it doesn't pay enough money here yet. I think it will. Second thing is you have more build more pride of representing a country more than anything. I mean, this US team, had the most views ever. I think there 40 million people watched the Belgium game, which is after the Belgium won, by the way, they all did the Trump dance. So there's an effect there.
Something else like my oldest a couple of years ago, he was playing like in the kind of local soccer program, and what's evident is that a lot of the people running the soccer program are just parents who never played soccer,
Yeah.
who are like, yeah, we it's something for the kids to do, rather than having like a real youth program. And like a youth program, it doesn't have to be like you're in the military, like drilling,
Yeah.
drilling things, but to have somebody who knows what they're doing. So we have a local parent who's actually from Scotland, and he coaches like on the collegiate level, and he's starting to become more active in the local youth soccer. And it's like great, we're gonna have somebody who's gonna be able to show the kids this is how you kick the ball,
Yeah.
this is how you pass and all that. But something I would recommend. I think what's important too is for you know kids to be able to see what really good soccer looks like,
Yeah.
you know. And I came across it today. It was Barcelona, their youth program, and these kids
Hmm.
are like 10 years old, 10 or 11 years old. And they were showing highlights of these kids playing, and dude, it was like astonishing. And I'm gonna I want to show my kids like, hey, this is what kids who are a little older than you are actually doing, to give them the idea of like, man, I could be might be able
Well,
to do
that's
something
that's
like that.
definitely a good idea, and that's one of the problems we have too. Is like pay to play. Here, you have to
Yeah.
pay to play,
Yeah.
and most of the time it's about entertaining, about babysitting, about whatever. Like you said, people don't have. Barcelona, for example, their academy, one of the best in the world. They take the kids. Messi, they took him when he was like a little kid. They take them there. They put him in school. It's a whole academy. You go to school, you eat well there. You stay in the whole time there. You practice every day. So they build something. But pay to play is definitely a good idea. I give you though one of the one thing that being not from America and have an accent and all that and pay off is soccer. When I coach soccer, I can have another American coach who is like white and he can be much better than me. But people will be like, we don't want to listen to you. We want to listen to this guy.
Right.
He
Yeah.
knows. He
It's
knows.
like being a straight, hairdresser.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And he could be, yeah, I could be like in the middle of nowhere in America with their basically, if you see somebody like me, they'll be like, oh shit. But if you soccer, they're like, okay, fine, coach, we'll take you. Yeah, we'll take you. It's fine. You know what you're doing. So yeah, that pay to play thing is crazy. But this is why the World Cup is important. And have it here was a great accomplishment. The amount of money we made, locally and the FIFA raise and the country made itself, and New York, so that's amazing. But also the culture, you learn so much about other cultures, about other celebration. The Japanese clean the stadium after every game. It's just like so insane. So it's kind of, I guess, like, I don't know, do you have that in comedy? Do you have, like, I mean, comedy is an American art, but do you see like comedy from different comedians, different cultures? Do you feel that can add anything to it or not really?
Well, right now at the Cellar, there's just a lot of comedians now from England and Australia, and
Too many.
yeah,
Too,
really,
build a wall. Get these foreigners out of here, man.
um, and there's some people whose first language is not English, like Rafi Bastos is Brazilian, um, and they can talk about their experiences in other countries. That adds something to it because it's um, a different point of view, and they have things that they can
You
talk
you
about.
performed in French before, right?
I have, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's funny because
Scared the shit out of me.
when I first moved here and I from my first comedy show at this Comedy Cellar, I didn't even know what it was. And I was like, I watched stand up. I was like, and this guy made a political joke. I was like, oh my God, this is so much fun. I can't wait to get this guy get arrested. Like this is gonna be
I,
awesome.
I was about to say, I thought when they brought the guy up, did you think there was a firing squad? Like you're gonna watch executions.
I was so no, in the beginning I didn't understand. But we're talking back in there, like stand-up wasn't as popular as now. Like the
Yeah.
cellar was empty, and there was only few people, and I was walking by. I was like, "What is comedy?" I was like, "I'll see," because everything in the Middle East is layered. The jokes is layered. It's more like a theater. You say a joke, but there's another meaning to it because you can say it straight up. So I saw a guy saying like everything that they want to say. It's like, "Holy fuck, this guy's gonna get arrested now. This is so much fun." And then,
Yeah, yeah.
but
I mean, yeah, that's one style of comedy is to just say what speak truth and politics, and the other style is David Tell talking about monkey pussy, you know, just silly or fanciful kinds of stuff.
And
yeah.
and killing. And Dan, you're in that category too.
I'm more in
You're
that category.
you're a killer.
Maybe it's
You're
time
yeah.
that I often thought if I ever became famous for the current act that I have, it'd be interesting to then try to do something else entirely. Just become like a political comic or something. No
Well, I
one's ever
do.
done that. No one's ever done that. Like if Attell all of a sudden was just like, yeah, I'm done with this. Yeah, I know it's funny. I mean, I fucking did everything you could do with that style of comedy, and now I just want to talk about politics and life and sexuality and dating and
Or can you imagine Stephen Wright? Like
yeah,
just out of nowhere,
yeah,
he
just
just
like
starts talking.
I get my school colors were clear, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm done with that.
yeah.
All right
What's interesting?
now.
That's a great point, Dan, because I do see a lot of people, comedians, try to have an opinion about everything.
Mm.
Like, oh, I have to like not away from their style, away from stuff, and I think that's definitely a mistake because you gotta go with your style. What makes you funny to
Well,
begin?
yeah, it could be weird if all of a sudden, like, if Gilbert Godfrey, for example, the late Gilbert Godfrey, all of a sudden decide he's going to talk about politics after just, you know, 20 years of yes, yes, um, it would be bizarre because it's like you're breaking character. It's like Dice Clay. It's like he kind of had to be that everywhere he went. That you know. So if you're that much of a character, then you're
Oh,
kind of stuck
if
with it.
Dice came out, we gotta tax the billionaires. Oh,
That's what's interesting about, soccer, different than any other sports, even like basketball, baseball, anything, or even like arts, like comedy and stuff, is like even though it's a general idea, but every culture have its own style of doing it, you know? And and you can tell, the way they do it, like even the way they play, the way they keep the ball, the way they foul, how aggressive they are, how not, like everything, even the fans with the way they, cheer and
We,
the Norwegian row thing.
You would notice that, I think, more than most casual viewers of soccer. Would notice that, oh, this team is playing in a different way than this team. The
But I
American
mean, I
team.
mean, like even if you look at the final, if you don't know anything
Hmm.
about soccer, you'll be like, why is Argentina so aggressive? It's like that's how they play. Why is Spain just keeping the ball? You can't take it away from them because they want to keep Italians are very well known for defending, very well. So stuff like that. So I feel like it's the same. I feel for comedy, like even though people come from other cultures, but they still want to do it the American way of
Yes,
stand up, even though if they're going to talk about their own
right.
personal
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
struggle.
yeah. Yeah,
So
yeah.
I
I
think,
think so. I think Americans influence pretty much everybody. Um, in terms of stand up.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that like the whole like crowd work thing has gotten around the globe.
Yeah,
Where you can go
probably.
to like Cameroon right now and it goes like, where do you work? What is your job? Tell me, is this your wife? What does she do?
What do you do in Nairobi?
Yeah, it's insane. This man is a doctor. What kind of doctor are you?
I got to tell you that crowd work thing is like as much as like people love it, because they want to be involved in the show, and want to be in social media and all this. It just like I hate it for comedy because people think that they can do it, and
Well,
and
it
it's a
does get a little
show.
repetitive because people say, "Where are you from? How did you meet? What do you do there?" You can, of course, do different things with that, but that's usually how it starts. Um, I guess there's some people. Pete Lee did something different. Like he would ask people, "Okay, so what's your worst fear?" Shit like that. Like trying to do different shit with crowd work rather than where you're from, how did you meet, what do you do?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's interesting. I got to give him credit for that. But for most people, they're just doing where you're from, and again, you can do obviously from that you can go in different places. But
Yeah.
of course, a lot
I
of times you've just seen so much that what seems like crowd work really isn't crowd work. Because
absolutely, yeah.
you've heard almost every by
Yeah.
now, if you've been doing it any length of time, you've heard Toronto, you've heard they you met online, met at the bank, met at work. So you may or may not have jokes are ready for that
Yeah.
situation.
That's the thing I feel now. I think I like from all the shows that I do is like I feel like comedians look for the person that they have the joke for rather than come up with
Well,
something at the
that might be one strategy.
yeah.
But
they're
I
like,
have a
oh
joke like, who's from Europe. So if they say they're from Holland, I say, oh, we don't need you anymore. We have legal marijuana. If they say we're from Bulgaria, I say, oh, that's Europe, but that's not like Europe. Like when Americans say we're going to Europe, it's not that
Right.
part of Europe. So I just sort of have UK. I say, oh yeah, well I'll bring up something with 1776 or whatever. So I have shit that's kind of for every possible general. Ireland, I have trouble with. Ireland, I don't have much to say about. I'm always hoping they don't say Ireland. So I have nothing to say about Ireland. Maybe I should
Yeah,
read.
I say that I don't do crowd work anymore because anytime I ask somebody what they do for a living, I always ask if they're hiring, and then it becomes a very awkward like can you check out my resume right now? I need a job. So right in the thick of it.
yeah,
Also,
no,
you know what? I think the key to crowd work is you got to be willing. I get too anxious because if you don't come up with something, then you got to ask another question. And then if you don't come up with something, you got to ask another. What do you do? Where'd you meet? But you got to keep asking questions until you get something. And I'm always
Mm.
worried that I'm not going to get anything and it's going to look bad. So I just would rather do the shit that I wrote in the first place.
but you know what's interesting? I noticed in a lot of times that because of social media and people want to be in the clips, so the crowd want to be in the
Yeah, yeah.
clips, so they're just fine with you talking to them. They think it's amazing. I'm part of the show,
Right.
even if there's nothing funny comes out of it. A lot of people do that, and I don't like it personally, but I think, unless you're an MC and you're trying to get, to know people and stuff like that. But other than that, I don't
Has,
know.
has anybody ever like planted people? I guess if they have, I don't know about it, but you could plant people in the audience
Yeah, I
and and,
usually,
and do
if I,
fake crowd work, and you look like a genius if
yeah,
you
no,
had
I
all
do
that.
that in like when I film certain specials. I know
Yeah,
that some comics know have certain jokes, like say about Middle Eastern, Asian. So I will put in the front these people knowing that he has a joke for them, you know. So, it's also I think you need to know where you are, There's some places that people like go to want to be in the crowd and talk to, and some people, and also like who's there. Like some people in the front, they probably want to be talked to, they want to be involved. So, it's kind of like people in the World Cup in the stadium wearing all these things want to have that moment in the camera where they, you know,
but if some guy's cheating on his wife, he's trying to be discreet.
yeah, that too,
Didn't that happen at a concert? Some guy was cheating on his wife, and he would they
Yeah, Coldplay.
Hmm.
Coldplay. Yeah.
How'd you not know that?
What's that?
How'd you not know that? That's like a big story.
Yeah, I know. I forgot it was Coldplay. I remember the story, but I forgot it was Coldplay.
Yeah,
Now that you say it's Coldplay, now it's coming back to me. It's Coldplay.
there you go. So overall, I think this World Cup, we had a lot of fears. We had a fear of like ICE and immigration and attacks and people not being friendly and nice and not stadium or empty. Everybody's like American don't care. And you come up with the most watched event, the most attended event ever, the most watched event ever in TV, the most live streamed ever, the most attended ever. We took all the homeless and put them somewhere else. So
The least homeless event ever.
yeah, we told Iran you gotta get the fuck out of here, come back at the day of the game and come back later.
And don't we have the Olympics coming up in LA?
Yeah, and the women's World Cup coming up too. So
Okay,
there's a lot
so
of there's a lot of and oh, just to like again because Trump is the funniest thing about all this. The first time, I don't know if you know that story. So when they announced that the U.S. is gonna be the host of the World Cup, that was the first Trump presidency, and then Biden came over, and then Trump again. So where which obviously, if Trump would have won the second time, he would not be in the World Cup. So anyway, the first time he met the FIFA guy is like, and Trump is like, oh, by the way, the guy from Switzerland have no idea what Trump is talking about, and he's like, yeah, I was the one that got the World Cup here. But then Biden stole the election from me because it was fraud. You know, it was a fraud. You know, it was a fraud, right? And the guy's like, what? It's like, yeah, it's stolen election. And the guy's like, okay, what? And then it took the guy a couple of years to understand Trump. And this guy from FIFA came one time after the Nobel Peace Prize and he told Trump, it's like a little kid, hey, I have a trophy for you from FIFA for peace work that you did around the world. And Trump's like, yeah, I won this.
So
So
everyone gets a trophy. Kind
yeah.
of.
So again, Trump put us in the front line for this. So anyway, I think it was a very successful World Cup. I hope a lot of the kids managed to attend or watch the games and have the dream, and maybe one day we'll be good from there. But it was very entertaining, and maybe Dan Natterman, you'll break the record for most viral videos more than the World Cup around the world with your next joke. I'm anticipating that.
Yeah, I don't know that I think jokes are. I think it's hard to go viral with a joke unless it's very controversial. I've got to do something, say something crazy. Maybe say something crazy about trans people or something.
Yeah, I don't know if that's even gonna get you there yet.
I don't know.
I think
You
it has to
got
be.
maybe you got to be trans, Dan.
I got
You got to
well,
change it up. That's the next thing. A political trans comedian. So
yeah, well, don't think it hasn't crossed my mind. Sometimes when I'm on the subway and there's a fight about to break, it looks like maybe a fight's going to break out. I said, a part of me is like anxious, and another part of me is well, maybe now's my chance.
yeah.
To
You
to
know,
what? To do what? To
not to
jump in
go
the.
viral. If I intervene, I mean, I'll get my ass kicked. But maybe of course, I might get killed. But if I don't, and somebody has it filmed, you know,
Or that's the time
that,
to do crowd work.
that's
Hey,
a
where you guys from? Where do you work?
Yeah, you never know. You never know. But anyway, guys, it was awesome. Thank you for being here. Dan, we talked about having you semi regularly here again. Every other, especially when Norm is not here, so we can talk about comedy and fun stuff
yeah.
instead
When
of
I'm
talking about
available.
Israel
All right.
every time he's here. Lou, always great to have you. What do you have coming up?
I have a show this Thursday at Some Good Wine in the Village. It's a show called Parental Advisory. We mix wine tasting and stand-up comedy, and Dan's going to be doing next month's show. So follow me on social media at Lou Perez for all the details. And if you're a listener to Live from America podcast, if you message me directly, I could hook you up with a deal on tickets. So
There you go. Natterman.
Some good wine. I'll be at some good wine, and other than that, I'll be at the Comedy Cellar. Several nights a week. And if you happen to be on Princess Cruises, you never know. I might be there too.
Dan's
There
your
you go.
captain.
Oh, you know how you can go viral, Dan? You should
Yeah.
go to a Somalian cruise.
Is there such a thing? Somalia,
No,
pirates?
the pirates, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's like,
I'll
hey guys,
hijack a cargo ship.
you'll be like, I'll be the first comedian who entertains Somalian pirates. You definitely go viral for that.
But yeah, all right.
What was the
That's
I am the comedian now.
doesn't pay very well,
I'm the
but yeah,
comic
if I go
now.
I'm the
viral.
comic now. Live from America podcast, World Cup, great success. Thank you guys. Always great to
Bye bye.
have you.